I'll whistle while you work. Hi everybody, my name is Douglas, in case you haven't seen me up here for the past 30 minutes doing exactly everything. Hi Ashley, how are you?
I'm good, how
What's
are you?
your last name?
Ashleigh Burton.
Ashleigh Burton?
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I love talking to you on the phone earlier today.
Yes, it was a pleasure.
So I have you here to kind of give an understanding, give a human face to a word, right? To a cause that can be esoteric. When people say, I have this, or I have cancer, or my back hurts, or anything that you can tell people, it can be understood in the mind, but not connected to another human being.
Right.
And so I wanted someone with official testimony who can bring that from just a word to a humanized feeling, right?
Yeah, definitely.
If you could tell us, how old are you?
I'm 29.
You're 29 years
Yep.
old. Okay. And when did you find out that you had lupus?
So I like to say overcoming lupus.
Overcoming
for
lupus.
about 9 years.
Okay.
So I found out, typical college student, eating all the crazy foods at school, and, embarking upon life. And I started getting these spells at night, and I call them spells because I was crippled. My hands would swell up. I couldn't walk. I was a RA at the time, so we had to do rounds, and I literally couldn't even function. And then I would wake up, and I would be okay. So it's like, okay, I need to go to the doctor. And when I went to the doctor, they told me I had something called palindromic rheumatism.
Palindromic rheumatism.
Palindromic, so it's something
Sounds like
where
arthritis.
yes,
Okay.
it's in the arthritis family, and basically it can come and go, essentially. So kind of ignored it. It would come and go, and then it kind of got frequent, and then you just kind of ignore things. You're a college student, you're trying to finish out, and gave me some medications to take, and I went about my way. And then I moved to Atlanta after finishing college. And then that's when my energy levels, and now it was an all-day thing. My energy was low, my feet were swelling. I had very severe arthritic pains, things that you would see in maybe, your grandparents, your fingers swell up. And so I was like, wow. So I went to the doctor, and they said, you've developed stage 4 lupus. So I'm like, how did I go from having something that they think is curable to now I'm stage 4.
And you're taking medication. You think everything is okay?
Right,
Okay.
right. But you're kind of negligent as a young adult. You're trying to start your life, get a new job, and at that point with stage 4, they kind of treat arthritis like cancer. So they decided to do something invasive, and I was on chemo. So I did that for about 6 months, and I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. Six months. Yeah, give her a hand. It's brave. It's hard to come up here and speak about this and relive these things. You take your time. Don't worry about it.
So, it was a hard time in my life because I wanted to start my life, but I found a way, and I got through it. I didn't have to go through radiation, which is what typically chemo patients go through. So I didn't lose my hair, but it was a hard time. But I got through it, and God put people in my life that helped me and put me in connection with some people in Atlanta. So I went to a program that somebody told me about.
Wait a minute, before we get there.
Yes.
I want to stay here. I want to stay here for a minute. This is what I mean by the humanization, right? Yours, I can imagine, 20, 21.
Yep.
Beautiful young lady just coming out, feeling like you have a disease of an old person. Does it affect your relationships?
Oh yeah. I was living with my mom, And so it takes a village. So I had a lot of support.
That's awesome.
And so that was a great thing. But, you know, at that time, you don't date, you don't, you know, you really kind of seclude yourself. So a lot that comes with it is, you know, you feel like depressed because you're on medication. I'm going to the doctor twice a week. So there's no partying, there's no hanging out with friends, going downtown, and I'm newly here, transplant to Atlanta.
From where?
Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah, I pretty much grew up in Colorado.
Colorado.
So, yeah, I needed a change, so
like
moved
that.
to Atlanta, ski town.
Love it.
Yeah.
Green town.
What, ski town?
The green town.
Yeah, green town too. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You know, we're healthy and clean air. You know, beautiful city.
Yep.
So.
Right. Y'all know. So. We're going to get to. I know where you're headed.
Yeah.
We spoke on the phone, but this right here, the fear first.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna prelude that by saying when we spoke on the phone, I said if I was to choose a word to describe what this, you know, has, how would you describe having this and fighting this for the last 9 years? I said fear. I said painful. I said lonely. I said learning, scared, and I said hopeful, and you chose hopeful. Before you get to the hopeful part, that fear of almost getting chemo, describe it. Describe because you're not the only person who's had that, and I'm sure there's other things. So in the life of someone who's being diagnosed with lupus, what are these types of fearful clinical ways of healing that they're telling people? Like chemo's one, and how does that feel?
Well, because it was the most invasive thing, they said, well, people respond to it better because we're trying to heal your kidney, essentially. So my first thought was, why do we have to go with the most invasive?
Right.
Because what comes with the most invasive is your one of the side effects that was very important to me was, well, it could affect your ovaries and your potential to have children. But they said, because you're young, you know, it's maybe less invasive. So, you know, I'm telling my family members, and I'm like, you know, can we get a second opinion? And they're like, we need to do this now. So, you know, you kind of feel like you're a guinea pig because you're just like, okay, I'm here. You're doing all these tests on me, you know, blood tests, and they're like, we need to do this now. And you're like, can I make a decision?
Right.
You know, can I do some research on it? And so with that, I had some family members in Colorado. They were like, let me talk to my doctor. So they talked to some doctors for me, and we discovered that there was a shot that they could give me called Depo-Lupron. So we're doing, you know, that's why I say it takes a village, because I had people looking out for me, and they were like, get this shot because it could protect your ovaries. Because, you know, a lot of people, you know, especially my age, you know, you're thinking 21, 22, you want me to preserve my eggs, and how much does that cost, you know? So I think with me being so young, I was just like, well, there's going to be a way, you know, and I'm not going to go to the negative. Right. So we're going to get this done, and I'm going to seek out different ways to heal myself naturally. And then, and I went along with it, you know, and I was able to tolerate it. Of course, it took, you know, a lot of time, you know, and you kind of just got to go with the process. Of course, the first time it was the hardest, but you know, I've been through different streams of chemo throughout the 9 years. But, you know, like I said, it's been ups and downs, but I'm hopeful because I've discovered so many different things to help me heal and what feels better for me, and also discovering that, you know, there is a way to overcome it. Explain that, the other side now of hope. How, why, when did that become the dominant word that you would use? Yeah. So after my first round of chemo, I was put in some, my mom was, you know, talking to different people, and, you know, you just kind of get connected, and you're just like, you know, to talk to people who had lupus. And so I attended what they call a graduation at a place in Atlanta called the Living Foods Institute. So that's when I learned about plant-based raw foods. And so to most people, you're just like, what? What kind of stuff? You know, even for me, I was, you know, eating meat and different things, eating whatever I want. So I went to a graduation, talked to some people, and I was given a scholarship to go to the program for a week. So I learned about healthy living, mind, body, spirit, and just connecting on a different level. And I began to feel better. So I started working out. I started incorporating this plant-based lifestyle. And of course, it's very hard.
Yeah.
You know,
at first, I'm sure.
Very hard. So of course, I didn't, you know, I stuck with it. But if, you know, as life goes on, you know, you pick up some more, I guess, bad habits.
Right.
But it stayed with me.
Okay.
So throughout my life, I've, in going through this, I, you know, did pescatarianism and, you know, different methods of eating healthy, and that helped me because then my doctor's visits became, oh wow, you're healing very quickly.
Wow, isn't that strange?
Isn't that strange? You know what I mean? Something that they thought this is going to be a long road. You know, yet do they know? Yeah, they think it's, oh, the chemo's working, but it's working overtime because I'm also living I'm living better. I'm you know, I'm meditating, I'm working out, I'm eating more plant-based foods because they're healing foods to my kidney, you know? So I do my research and I'm like, what's gonna heal my kidney? Because what lupus nephritis, and that's the type that I have, it means that your body can't filtrate what's good or what's bad. So it's releasing the bad and the good toxins, where most people, when they're eating and they're filtering the bad nutrients, it kicks them out. As a lupus, somebody with lupus, it's not necessarily filtrating anything. So you're losing good bacteria, bad bacteria, and that's what causes inflammation and the arthritic pains. And of course, lupus affects people in different ways. Right. But I have a particular type.
Okay. I'm going to say you don't have to respond to this. It enrages me to know that a doctor who's gone to school for 100 years, you know, and who's gone through all types of residencies and who's supposedly studied medicine at the highest level and actually graduated, where they have a 50 to 60% dropout rate because it's so hard, couldn't tell you that, hey, changing your diet just might help your kidneys, or plants might be better than meat for you. Instead, they run first for what's the next pill I can give you. Thank you. It's ridiculous to me. It's about the money, how much can you make, and how many times can you come back. And I think it's a complete destruction of the Hippocratic Oath that we've involved so much of this money and kickbacks into the pharmaceutical industry. And that's all I'm going to say about that. You have the last word.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I mean, I completely agree. I mean, that's just the wave of Western medicine. They couldn't, how could you monitor? I mean, that's how the world works. I mean, the pharmaceutical industry, they have to make money. They're always promoting different drugs. And then, this helps with your depression, but it could cause that, it's a gimmick. And that it's cheaper to heal yourself with foods that grow from the ground than and for them, that's not science to them. That's why it's practicing medicine, because they're practicing. They don't find cures. They just, okay, you have this is what we know to work for this, and that's it. They're not paid to there's doctors out here that
they're good ones. They're ones that mention the whole body, mind, experience, understand how it works together.
Exactly.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. Yeah.
All right. So I think we've done our job here.
Yeah.
I think you've done a job. Thank you so much for your bravery. You need the last word of hope to others out there suffering with lupus, and to those out there that we ask to donate, that we ask to become a part in your community to help while we're here.
Yeah.
Leave that word of hope for them.
If you're battling lupus, I just feel like, just don't give up hope, because do your research and surround yourself with people who are positive. Look at documentaries. Be stress-free. And don't let people put their limitations on you.
Yes.
Because you can overcome.
Right. Actually,